Bob Shutter is just a great human being. And he did it oftentimes in small ways. I came to Marquette University in 1987, and I left, retired in 2017. And so most of those years, Bob was my chair. And I dealt with chairs elsewhere, especially at USC. And coming from USC to Marquette under Bob's leadership, let's just say it was like night and day, and Bob was day. And so I was grateful for Bob's presence. And in terms of my experience of him, I'll just give two small examples. One was whenever there was tension, controversy, some big issue in the department between the university and the department, or the university and the college, Bob stepped in, and Bob stepped up. And he did it in a way that fascinated me, because he was always calm, he was always collected, he was always reasonable, but he was a fierce advocate. And that was not part of my experience at other places, whether I was a grad student or 2 years I spent at USC. So I always appreciated that, and I always thought, this man is fair, this man is honest, and this man not only means what he says, he says what he means. You put those two together, you have someone character, and that was Bob Shutter. And he is and will be missed. And the second thing is, I'm a rhetorician by trade, and I followed some of Bob's work. I read a little bit of it, but I also just watched him in his office and how he processed things. And I really didn't know it, but he influenced me, I think, more than I knew. And the thing that I have been thinking about lately, and this is the last thing I'll say, was in 1995, with my little knowledge, I took a risk, and I wrote a piece called Rhetoric, Multiculturalism, and the 21st Century in 1995. You know, maybe not many people have seen this piece, but it augurs some issues, I think, that we're still struggling with today. And the reason I mention that is that it's Bob Shutter that inspired that thought. And I didn't even think about how much influence Bob had till I actually went back to this piece about a year ago just to take a look at it. And maybe, you know, you might not find the citations, but Bob's thought and work and effort was sort of the support system for my attempt to break free a little bit and talk about this thing called change and how we might approach it. So I'm grateful to Bob. I'm grateful for all the times we had together. I'm grateful for being able to sit in the living room with Diana and meeting the kids and that kind of thing. But most of all, I just think, as I said earlier, I'm grateful to have met a kind human being whose heart reached out. Final thing, he knew I was interested in politics, and he knew the kind of work I did. So we'd just be walking in the hall, and he'd share with me the latest headline from the New York Times, and then we'd have a discussion about it. And even if it was a hallway discussion that ended at the end of the hall, it always was provocative. And that's who Bob was, because Bob reached out, and we were all the benefactors. We're the beneficiaries of that. And so the legacy is strong, And the human mind is weak, facing the multiple roles Bob played. I don't know how he did it. Thank you.